When I watched him in many scenarios, I felt he enjoyed the idea of capturing the belt, but defending it fight after fight and dealing with all the media attention being an MMA fighter is not fun anymore for Roberts. Wanna know what we're talking about? Bobby Knuckles, the Reaper, and his alias, the guy who almost stopped Israel, the Last Stylebender, Adesanya at UFC 271 last week. Let's get into the video and stick to the end to find out who follows him next. Hey guys, welcome back to another wonderful video. In this video, we will discuss Robert Whittaker's next moves in detail. What is he up to in the octagon? All this we will highlight in this exciting video. So, let's move towards our main business. He is coming off a defeat from his most recent fight against Israel, Adesanya. It was indeed a close fight between these two heavyweights. Although Israel won the fight, many people still believe that Robert had the upper hand and are upset with the decision. However, people love Roberts and he is one of the most likable fighters in MMA history. Even though this fight was much closer than the first, the bottom score line is Israel 2 wins to Roberts 0. And unless you are Max Holloway, it is impossible to get a third fight in this type of situation. Indeed, it is shameful as Robert is one of the best 185ers who have played the game, but now he is at a point where he won't get another shot at the title unless Israel loses the belt. So now I and all the other fans are wondering, what is next for him? There are plenty of matchups possible in a division full of talent. How the UFC decides to go about it will be something many will be keeping an eye on. Robert Whittaker versus Sean Strickland. If it wasn't for CONOR taking out Brunson in an impressive fashion, we might have seen Sean Strickland versus Adesanya. Strickland, who beat Jack Hermansson not long ago, is on a 6-fight win streak. The Hermansson fight was a calculating affair with a performance that Strickland himself was not a fan of. Nevertheless, he believes he is ready for a title opportunity but would be willing to fight whoever the UFC puts in front of him. Strickland is ranked 6th, following impressive wins over Hermansson and Uriah Hall. A step up in a competition in the form of Whittaker would be the test he needs to prove he is the next contender the UFC has been waiting for. Robert Whittaker versus Marvin Vettori. If it is not Strickland versus Whittaker, the next logical fight to make is Whittaker against Marvin Vettori. Both fighters are ranked high in the middleweight division as of this moment. In October, Vettori, who Adesanya beat in June at UFC 263, rebounded by beating former contender Paulo Costa. Vettori is 6-1 in his last 7 fights and is ready to prove he should remain in the title picture. If Whittaker believes a third fight between him and Adesanya is possible, beating Vettori would be the first step in doing so. There were some possible match scenarios for Robert. In my opinion, the clear answer to this is that Robert should go back to welterweight. After all, it all begins at welterweight, where he started his career and even won the Ultimate Fighter as 170-pounder. Apparently here, Robert walks around as a 192-pounder, which is slightly closer to 185 pounds. But look, Robert has done this before, but there is a reason why he wanted to move up to middleweights. He is not as good as he was in 185. Lots had to do with the backweight cuts. Before his fight against Mike Rhodes, he said he had cut 17 pounds in the morning. That is insane. Although Robert came back as a winner, he was questioning himself, saying, "What the hell was I doing?" Because this was when he was not a big name yet, so financially he was struggling with average results. He was barely making any money and he was afraid to lose his position for contract at UFC. With all this, Robert admitted that he had lost his way as a fighter and a family man. At that time, he chose to move up to 185, which was a great decision for Robert and us MMA fans. Before moving further, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Also, smash the bell icon so you can stay updated every time we post new videos. Let's get going. Robert has to come out of the box and think about the future in the current scenario. Suppose he wants to become champion and be the real king of the octagon. It isn't going to be anytime sooner with 185. And despite all the reasons he left to cut 170 in the first place, I feel he is a completely different person now compared to when he made that decision. Because he has made a name for himself as a former champion. He has more money, and more importantly, he has made a poster boy of what a great family man looks like. After this entire difficult period, I think Robert has now become more disciplined, and that's why I have high hopes for him as a welterweight this time around compared to before. Although the cut would be more difficult compared to 185, all the worries he had as a broke fighter would be gone. Therefore, he can focus more down to 170. With his talent and skills, he will be a problem to many welterweights, especially since he doesn't have to fight with the heavy 185ers. Plus, he has the name value to get a shot at the title after a couple of fights. So everything right now suggests that the stage is set for Robert to move on to welterweight, in my opinion. But what if he no longer wants to become the champion? Because this is something Robert has clearly expressed himself in the past. He said that he did not like being a champion due to media obligations, expectations, and pressure on himself. He enjoys the actual challenge of fighting with different opponents, trying to figure out how he beats them. Robert likes to be the underdog to sort his career, so maybe he will be the favorite in most matchups in the future. But if he stays at 185, he doesn't have to worry about any consequences of being a champion. In fact, of all the fighters who have been stuck in the same situation of losing for the championship twice, I would say Roberts benefits the most from it, and because of it, he has probably been in no rush of becoming a champion again. I think he enjoys the idea of capturing the belt, but defending it after fight after fight after fight while dealing with all the media attention as the job of being an MMA fighter begins to not be fun anymore for Roberts. So honestly, I won't be surprised if he stays at middleweight and continues to fight there without any path to the title. However, he will still be a huge name and continue to fight as a UFC Fight Night headliner because it is apparent that even without a belt, he is still one of the best fighters at 185. And as much as I do believe that he loves fighting, I can also tell that he loves his life outside of it. So staying in the middle would be a great way to balance both worlds. But he's only 31, and if he does want to become a champion again, then the time is now, and he should be at welterweight. What do you think of Robert Whittaker's next move? Do let us know your opinion in the comments section. Who will be the next opponent for the Reaper? Thanks for watching this video. In this video, we have explained the path Robert should take in the future after losing twice to Israel. It's time to wrap up. If you like it, do give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and make sure to keep us saved by the bell. See you soon.